Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Arif Amirul bin Ruslan from Group J4EM Hormone 058. So today I will be talking about my assignment to individual, which is about Safety and Healthy Act 1994. So the objectives for this is to protect employee welfare, safety, and health against risks to their health or welfare brought on by their work-related activities. And second, to foster the development of an environment at work for people that is fitted to their requirements on physically and psychologically level. Third, it is to protect those who aren't really working against threats to their health or safety caused by the actions of others who are working. To make sure all of the people surrounding are in a safe environment. Okay, moving on. So the Introduction to Safety and Health Act 1994. So this act is to make further provisions for securing the safety, health, and welfare of persons at work. And then it is also for protecting others against risks to safety or health in connection with the activities of the person at work. So lastly, it is to establish the National Council for Occupational Safety and Health. So moving on to the procedures. So for general duties of employers and self-employed person, firstly, it is to ensure the safety, health, and welfare at work of all his employees. Second, it is the provision and maintenance of equipment and work systems that are risk-free and safe for health. And lastly, the preparation of procedures to guarantee safety and the absence of health concerns associated with the operation, handling, storage, and transportation of plant and substances. Moving on, the provision of information, guidance, training, and supervision required to protect his workers' health and safety at work. The maintenance of that workplace in a safe and risk-free condition, as the supply and maintenance of safe and risk-free methods of access to egress from it. And lastly, the provision and maintenance of a working environment for his staff that is safe, free from health concerns, and adequate in terms of facilities for their welfare at work. Moving on, general duties of employees. So, it is to take reasonable care for his own welfare and the health of anybody else who could be impacted by his acts or omission at work. To assist his employer, any person in carrying out any obligations or requirements imposed on them by this act or any regulation established under it. Moving on, it is to wear any protective gear or apparel given by the employer at all times in order to reduce hazards to his health and safety. And lastly, it is to follow any guidelines or measure on occupational safety and health established by his employer, anybody else, or this act, as well as any regulation imposed thereunder. Moving on, for the procedures for the safety and health organization. So the function is it will keep monitoring the measures taken to protect people's health and safety at work. Second, it shall investigate any matter at the place of work, such as which a committee member or someone employed there believe is unsafe or poses a health risk, and which has been brought to the attention of the employer. And lastly, is we will perform any additional duties that may be assigned. Moving on. Furthermore, cases of illness have occurred which he has reasons to believe may be due to the nature of the process or other conditions of work, by reason of the introduction of any new process or new substances for use in a process. There may be a risk of injury to the health of persons employed in the process. And lastly, people under the age of 16 are already or will soon be working in jobs that pose a risk to their health. On notifications of accidents, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and occupational disease and inquiry. The procedures are any accident, hazardous event, occupational poisoning, or occupational illness that has occurred or it is anticipated to occur at the workplace must always be reported by the employer to the closest occupational safety and health office. Any registered medical practitioner or medical officer who believes a patient to be afflicted with one of the illnesses listed in the third schedule of the Factories and Machinery Act 1967, Act 139, or any disease mentioned in a regulation or order issued by the minister under the Act, or occupational poisoning, must be reported the patient's condition to the Director General. Moving on, the power of occupational safety and health officer at inquiry to administer oath and affirmation and shall be vested with the powers of a first-class magistrate for compelling the attendance of witness and the production of documents, maintaining order and otherwise duly conducting the inquiry, and all persons summoned to attend the inquiry shall be legally bound to attend. Moving on, let's move on to the case study. So for my project, I chose the company Nestle. So the compliances implement in all sites the mandatory Nestle occupational safety and health management system. It also meets or exceeds the requirements of the health and safety laws applicable in the countries in which the Nestle operate. So for strong safety, it also has strong safety and health organization. It established local safety and health organizations that provide specialist advices to managers and employees. It also performs systematic identification of hazards and to manage them with appropriate risk assessments and subsequent action to minimize danger. Designing and adapting processes, work practices, and systems in the direction of better ergonomics and greater safety. So let's move on to the last part, which is conclusion. So firstly, Safety and Health Act 1994 is an important law of any worker, employers, etc. Second, it is also to protect employee welfare, safety, and health against risk to their health or welfare. Third, the workplace must be a safe environment at all costs. Lastly, if found guilty of breaking the act, there will be a punishment or fine or jail time. So this is the reference. That is all for me. Thank you very much.